for all who are gathered here tonight. As we are come together as one body in Floresville, we thank God for all the gifts that He has bestowed upon us and they're here in Floresville, and that He continues to bless us all. Open our minds with your wisdom, Lord, and our hearts to speak what we need to say this evening, and that you continue to bless all of us and those who are to come in the future, to guide us in your direction, and to allow all that occurs in your will. We ask this through Christ our Lord, who lives and reigns with you, one God, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
Established quorum, Councilman Guerrero, Councilman Miller, Councilman Rodriguez, Councilman Castillo, Councilman Ramos. Would you please stand
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, do we have any citizens' comments?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Gonzalez?
I was here a while back on, I think, 26th September on some properties in Floresville. And one property has partially been taken care of, and I gotta give that credit to Mrs. Turner. I spoke to Mrs. Turner a week ago, and she told me it would be done in 2 days, and it got done. Now I want to see how come Monica can't do her job. It's been a long time overdue. I've given her a sheet with the addresses and everything, nothing's been done. Again, I'm gonna tell you the same thing. Your letter says 10 days, after 10 days, you find them, you take them to court, or the city mows it. You just told me a while ago, city doesn't have any money. That's a pretty sorry answer.
Mr.
Doesn't
Gonzalez?
have any help.
Yes, that was right. I didn't say we didn't have any money, I
But
said we did not have
what
any
you told me didn't make
employees.
no sense at all.
Well,
So, not well. You're a smart and educated lady, you should have better sense. I mean, again,
Mayor,
what,
excuse me, I don't think this is appropriate for this man to come in and insult us, so please, dismiss him.
so where's Monica, where's with this property?
There's a presentation on code compliance in just a minute.
Okay. I mean, I can't seem to get anywhere. It's been years and months and nothing gets done.
I understand it.
Sorry, Mr. Gonzalez. Any other citizens' comments? Okay. In old business, 1A, consideration and action to approve the minutes from August 28, 2013. Can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to accept the minutes.
I second it.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilman Rodriguez, second by Councilman Castillo. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Now on to item 1B, consideration and action to approve minutes from September the 5th, 2013.
Madam Mayor, I think we need to amend this one. There were 2 executive sessions we came out, and I forget the exact verbiage we used on this, but was to, first motion was to take the steps and then to, for the appointment of the city manager, including the development of contract terms for the position. We went into executive session the second time, and then came out and made the motion to appoint Ms. Henrietta Turner. And the way these minutes appear is incorrect, so I'm gonna move to table this one.
I'll second.
Before, if I might just comment, before the last paragraph, there needs to be an indication of the term of executive session.
Motion by Councilman Miller to table, second by Councilman Rodriguez. All in favor? on to item 1C, consideration and action to approve minutes from September the 12th, 2013.
Mayor, I move to approve the minutes from September 12th.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilman Guerrero, may I have a second? Second by Councilman Morones, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Now on to item 1D, consideration and action to approve the minutes from September the 26th.
Motion to approve minutes of September 26th.
Seconded. A motion by Councilman Morones, second by Councilwoman Castillo, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion
I
carries.
oppose.
Two opposed? Okay. That's 4-1. Then the last one, which is the consideration and action for minutes for October the 7th. I think I got those tonight.
Motion to
And they
approve.
were emailed President.
I'll motion to approve.
Okay. A motion by Councilman Miller, and a second. Second by Councilman Rodriguez. Sorry. It's because I was looking at Eric, I'm sorry. All in favor? Miller and Guerrero. Thank you. All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, now let's go on to 2, presentation, update, and discussion. And I'm going to move the Chamber of Commerce funding discussion up first. Is that okay with everyone? Fine. Judy, with that? What vote?
On the podium for you to stand at. Over in the corner. It's okay, I'm just.
Gibbs, take a picture of this.
Eric doing work.
Working together, look at that.
Teamwork.
That kills us.
Said Councilman didn't work. Good evening, Mayor, good evening, Council, good evening, citizens. Anybody that doesn't know me, I'm Philip White, I'm the President of the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce runs the Visitor and Tourist Center here in Floresville, and it's our money. And I'm here tonight to request the council to return the funding of the hotel motel tax. You have a packet in front of you, and in that you have detailed budgets for both the chamber and the Visitor and Tourist Center. Whilst the two are linked, they are accounted for completely separately on 2 separate programs, but they do file taxes under the chamber's 501c6 status. The Visitor and Tourist Center has received no funding from the hotel motel tax since 2010. Since then, the chamber has been subsidizing it, and the Visitor and Tourist Center currently owes the Chamber of Commerce over $19,000. The Visitor and Tourist Center has less than $420 in its bank account. The Visitor and Tourist Center has over 12,000 inquiries a year, and that's not including anything on the internet. That is phone calls and visitations. Over 95% of those are visitor and tourist related. If we just wanted a chamber office, we could probably staff that for 3 hours a week. That's all the chamber needs. The Visitor and Tourist Center is what is the reason we staff that there. We are in, I would bet 50% of people that come in there ask where City Hall is. We have 19,200 believe from the latest traffic count, vehicles going past there every day. So it is a natural place for people to stop. When the Peanut Festival comes around, over 300 phone calls as to how they get in contact with the Peanut Festival. The office is very, very busy. It needs to be funded. I'm asking that for two items, actually. The one is for the immediate refund of the money that's owed to the chamber, which is a little over $19,000. And then going forward, that you give 30% of the hotel motel tax, so the visiting tourist center will survive. There is no money in the visiting tourist center. If it doesn't get funded, it will not be there. I will be happy to take any questions.
Can you give us a little bit of history as to why it was taken away in the first place?
I wasn't in the chamber when it was taken away, or if I was, I just joined. Everything that I've heard, the reason that it was taken away has been rumor and innuendo, so I don't think I want to comment on that. I have the past president here, always would be happy for him to, who was present when the money was taken away, to, if he would like to.
I think at that point in time, the city was in the throes of introducing the event center. There was a scramble for money for the city. And it was decided to, at one city council meeting, the city came in and said, we are taking the visitor center money away from the Chamber of Commerce. And doing, at that point in time, just remember, we were giving 10% of that money to the Peanut Festival also. We objected to it on the grounds that it would hurt eventually the city, not being able to fund the tourist center. Now, the chamber's been funding it by itself for the last few years. And that's
Thank you,
about
Paul.
all.
And if you look at the budget for the Visitor and Tourist Center, you'll see in 2010 that we received $73,322 from the hotel motel tax. 4A got $6,300 of that. What's H smash here? Yeah, 7,332 went to the Peanut Festival.
Philip, do you know when it was established and when it was the city involved in the establishment of the tourist? Did the city say, okay, you do it and we'll supply you with a certain amount of dollars?
Yeah, I wasn't around when that happened,
It's
so
a regular city function.
it is a regular city function, and
But as far as money going to it from the city,
When the city of Floresville first voted to collect the hotel motel tax, there was a contract drawn up between the city and the chamber that the chamber would administer those funds, plus 10% that would go to the Peanut Festival, kind of spread it around.
I have a copy of that contract here. This is the 2010 contract.
So that contract is still active?
No.
No, they withdrew it in
It withdrew it in
2010.
2010.
There is no term limitations in there as to,
No.
just
so
at the
a
discretion
new
of the
one would
city?
have to be drawn up.
Yes. Yeah, simply because this one, the last one that was drawn up in 2010 says that the chamber will manage 100% of the hotel motel tax funds. I'm not asking for that. We're asking for 30% of it, so that we can have a visitor and tourist center to continue. Because I can't stress the seriousness enough. The hotel and motel tax funding, if it doesn't come back, there will be no visitor and tourist center.
Ms. Lara,
Continue funding.
Ms. Lara, do you have a figure of, okay,
I'm like looking at the budget, the new budget we just adopted, because it was discussed in some of the budget workshops, and we put it in there that we needed to visit about, getting a new contract and getting some of the money towards the tourism. It's going to have about 150, it's not, actually 179, that's not been allocated at this time for 13-14 years. And there actually will be some leftover fund balance going forward. But we only allocated 120,000 of it, of 300,000 that we expect to collect.
As there's no action item on here, I think the council agrees that the city needs a visitor and tourist center. One of the concerns I have is that the visitor and tourist center work hand in hand with our economic development corporation, so we're sending the same message.
Absolutely.
And
Couldn't agree more.
I would encourage you and the city manager to come up with a new contract that you could present to the council for action, you know, and hopefully working with the EDC in that as well. So maybe
In
at our
fact,
next
we
council
already had a
meeting.
meeting about that and discussed the need to work with the EDC closer, better communication, work on products together, particularly in driving business to Floresville. If the EDC has something, then we want to be involved in it, we want to be part of it. We want to meet with those people and say, what have we got to do to move, so you move your business to Floresville. That's what the Visitor and Tourist Center does. But also we do an awful lot just for, I couldn't count the number of Eagle Ford workers that have come in that are looking for places to stay, hotels, motels, RV parks, whatever. And we have all that information there and we give it out every time. You know, we do, what did we do last year for the baseball game? 500 bags. All that money has to come from somewhere to do all that. So it's a good way of promoting businesses outside.
Mr. Boswell,
Yes, ma'am.
do you have a budget for, this is 2013, or is this
That's
your budget for 2014?
2013.
Okay, so that's $50,000, gonna round it off. Plus, do you still owe the $19,000 to the Chamber of Commerce?
Yes.
Okay, so it's.
The Chamber has funded everything, funded the total salaries for 2011 and 2012, and then it's funded everything else, because there's no money left in the bank account.
So basically, if it wasn't a percentage, you could operate with $70,000.
The problem with doing is a percentage, and the reason I'm asking for a percentage as opposed to a flat sum, and it works better for the city as well, is that as it increases, our work and expenditure will increase, so the amount the Visitor and Tourist Center will automatically increase. By the same token, if we have another economic collapse, then if the money decreases, then your percentage you give to the Visitor and Tourist Center decreases as well. So a percentage to me makes a lot more sense than the Visitor and Tourist coming back to you every year and saying, hey, we need more money.
Because right now, what is the amount of money that we're collecting as a hotel trade?
A little over $300,000.
And one of the things when you look at the hotel, the two-part test is the heads and beds and what are the expenses. So most of the time, a tourist center, most of the expenses qualify, but sometimes they don't. So that's something we gotta work out with the contract and look at the budget. You need to work that to make sure that.
And if you don't have a copy of the old, I'm happy to give you this, because there's some pretty good guidelines on here, what we have to do. We understand, it's all about putting heads in beds. If we're doing a newspaper advertisement for the Christmas parade, you can't spend the hotel tax money for doing it in the Wilson County News. But you can spend it in the San Antonio Express News or in the Beeville papers all on the south of here, because those people will come and spend the night. So there are limitations, strict limitations, and I'm lucky to have a very good board here tonight that they know what we can spend the money on and what we can't.
Philip, the 7,000 that you show here on 2012,
That was given by the then city manager for us to advertise the Christmas parade. And we're coming up on that very, very soon. And there is no funding in there to, we spent that money in local, not local newspapers, but newspapers surrounding San Antonio. We said there are 5 newspapers south of here. To
That's a
advertise.
one-time deal just for that event?
Yes.
Well, one other question, and I hope that in the new contract we can address this. I don't know if a percentage or a fixed amount is. I'm sure city staff can come to a good recommendation on that. But the chamber focuses on members. The Visitor and Service Center focuses on the community. How do you distinguish between, you know, in looking at the chamber's website, it lists hotels that are their members, not all the hotels. How do we distinguish that in a visitor and tourist center when somebody comes in? Are we referring just chamber members, or are we referring all businesses?
We are referring, particularly when it comes to hotel motels, and I think they're all members except one. We are referring all of them, but part of the hotel motel tax goes to producing this, which is way overdue, and it's going to be in the budget for 2014. That is not a chamber guide, it's a visitor guide. Every business that wants to be in here can be in here, whether they're chamber members or not.
If they buy an ad, but I
Well,
understand.
no, they're even listed anyway, whether they buy that or not.
Oh, okay, that's what I was getting at, is that we're listing all restaurants or all hotels or all retail pieces in the functions of a visitor and tourist center as compared to the functions of a chamber.
We do other things for our chamber members, which make them stand out from other businesses. We can't make everybody be a member. If they don't want to be, that's fine. But we still, as a visitor and tourist center, promote them until if people are looking for them, we'll know where to send them.
Basically, the perks of being a member.
Absolutely. That whole $100 that we take every year.
Mr. Vipont,
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry. It looks like a lot of this is overhead expenses, office expenses. There's an item that says advertising for $8,500. What would be included in that, other than brochures and?
Brochures, advertising, there would be, we spent a considerable amount on the Christmas festival, on the Christmas along the corridor, and the Christmas parade, and market days.
You don't have an
Yeah.
amount for Fall Fest?
Well, Fall Fest is being run, it's not a change, it's not an event that we are involved in, although we are promoting it. It is being run by the city.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Parks and Rec. But it's like, you know, some of the things you'll see in there is there's a large amount in there that the visitor and tourist and chamber sign, the big one up there, is in very bad repair, and it will have to be done next year.
The sign maintenance?
Yes.
For $3,000?
Right, it's going to be completely repainted. And I may come to you with another idea on that before we get to that.
Paper one?
Big electronic one that we can make paper.
Yeah, I like that.
What are your plans for, you know, if the money is returned to the chamber?
I'm going to the Bahamas.
I guess there would be a big plan.
And just so you all understand, the Visitor and Tourist Center is accounted for separately. It has a separate bank account. The Visitor and Tourist Center account is with First National Bank. The Chamber's bank account is with Wells Fargo. It's totally separate. So that money goes into that bank and will be used as per the budget.
And if I understood correctly, everybody is included in that, even if they're not chamber members.
Yes. Yes, it is a Visitor and Tourist Center. It's
Promotes the entire city.
Yeah, most of the time.
How do y'all get the businesses, y'all, every business is included in there?
Yes, in the Visitor and Tourist Center, yes.
And the rent, you don't show rent here from January to April. I don't see it here, we started in May, you show rent expenses.
You've got building rent in there of $4,200.
Okay, but when you separate them, where it says on January 15th, what,
Oh, you want the, this is the, that's the sheet that the chamber's already paid out.
yeah, you don't show rent there. It started in May, from January to May, it doesn't show rent.
agree, and I will double check that, but I'm pretty certain there was sufficient money in there for January, February, and March, still in the visitor and tourist account to pay the rent. So it is not over for those months.
Mr. Viton, we haven't posted it yet, but we're gonna have a special meeting on Monday at 7. And I'm not sure if it's too premature to, because we don't have a contract or anything, but we'll be discussing it again.
We'll do it probably at CNA, but, what we would like probably is, try to work with a dollar amount rather than percentage, that way, we're probably gonna, what's the dollar amount that can work with versus the percentage? 'Cause, I mean, we wanna work with you, but at the same time, we wanna see maybe more, and then we have to table it again to whatever, but if you can put something together with a percentage or an amount, we can probably.
There wouldn't be time to get the new contract done, but if I can get you copies of the old contract, you can see the limitations and structure of the contract.
That would be good.
Which restricts us on what we do have to do. This does include paying for and things like that, that you can ignore. But basically, the fundamentals of the contract just take out, because we're not getting 100%, we won't pay the, that's for the fundamentals of the contract are pretty good. It wouldn't be it'll only be $20 of losing money to do it.
Thank you.
If we can have an opportunity to review the contract now, since I have a sense of what the council would like, Laura and I can spend some time internally with ourselves and staff to review and make suggestions, and then meet with the Chamber of Commerce, and then go back and forth and negotiate some items, review with the attorney, and then bring it back to you. But I don't think we have time to do all of that by Monday evening.
It's not very long, I've seen the old one, so would you get it to him tomorrow, Mr. Raycom?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
With the email first thing in the morning. Any other questions? Thank you for your time.
Thank you for all your help.
Thank you to my board for showing us good. Thank you.
Council, without review, may I like to move out to the presentation, text stop check presentation to the Floresville Police Department. Would you all okay with that?
Yes, yes. Good evening, everyone, to the mayor and the council members. My name is Robin Smith. I represent TechStop. And I am here this evening to present a $3,000 check to the Floresville. Big congratulations to them. I just wanted to let them know personally, I had to drive down here. This is my new favorite friend. We've been through a lot together to get this check. But I just wanted to let you know, every year we have a campaign called Ticket or Click It. And it's through the month of May for the Labor Day weekend. And we have a mobilization, and it is called Ticket or Click It. And of course, that means wearing your safety belts. And if you don't know, January 1st, 1968, every single motor vehicle had to have a safety belt installed as a safety standard feature. And it wasn't until 2009 that it became Texas law that everyone should wear a seat belt. No matter where you're sitting in the car, no matter your age, you have to have a safety device on. And just so you'll know, 2012, during this mobilization period, there were over 21,000 safety belt citations given out across the state of Texas, and then an additional 4,000 children not having their safety belts on. That's just crazy to me, to not have your child buckled up. But, so you'll know, Texas is doing well. We're hovering around between 91 and 94% of wearing our safety belts. But that tends to drop when it comes to pickup trucks. So, teens and pickup truck drivers, wear those safety belts.
And I have to say, I was standing here last year doing this presentation, and it is rare, really rare, that a city will get a back-to-back $3,000 check, and you guys did this, and that was on behalf of TxDOT and to the city of Floresville PD, congratulations.
Thanks so much, Robbie. We appreciate it very much. Also, just so that everybody knows, we've actually applied for and received 4 grants in the last 4 years from TxDOT totaling $10,000. So we're making a difference, and we're bringing it back to Floresville, so that's where it matters. So thank you to Robbie for coming out for us tonight. Thank you, guys. Thank you. We struggled to get the grant finished this year.
Next one you had, right?
Yeah, that's it. Because I'm going to change this to Gary at Fowler.
Okay, now we're gonna go back on schedule here, we're gonna go back to 10A, the financial update. August 2013, detailed listings, fund balances, sales tax report.
Good evening, mayors, council, citizens. We have the month of August, and it was in your packet. And kind of looking down the year, we are actually over when it comes to this fiscal year. Our new budget was passed, and we are now operating under our new budget. So in the month of August, actually, there was pretty light on expenditures. You know, we've been doing our best to hold off expenditures. That was one of the main concerns all year long. In addition, revenues, looking at it through August and September, they really come in very close to what was budgeted. We did do a few changes on the first budget amendment, so I was pleased to see between Tom's work prior to me and the few changes doing really well. For the general fund, total financing sources are $3,158,014. This included 99.25% of current property tax of $367,667. Again, we've talked about this every time we have the same meeting. November is your highest collection month for property tax. In the month of August, you only brought in $2,019. The sales tax revenue is still on the same, we've seen an increase, staying very current. We've already received October's. So sales tax revenue for the month was $129,263. That was just the general funds portion. This is an increase of $18,675 in compared to last year in August. Let's see. And we have some of the transfers. I made the transfer for the 4A that is in the budget. That was done in the month of August as well for the $100,000. It's actually just an entry that I made that we moved money from one month to another. And the general fund expenditures total $3,103,798, or 82.31%. Again, if you look at the month we're in, as August, expenditures would be at 91.67 on if you were spending every single line item. So you can see we have been holding expenses down. At this point, we've had 22 pay periods out of 26, so most of the line items should be around at 93%. Again, streets, we have vacancies, parks, we have vacancies, and you can tell that by the percentages. There wasn't not a lot of expenses in the general fund. Last month, there was a question about the AT&T, just one on the mayor and council's budget. All year long, and it's at even prior year, there are 3 phones that were charged to that department at $334 a month. As I said last month, we went with Verizon Wireless through the state bid contract, which is one of those interlocal agreements I brought to you for us to actually do purchasing and join through co-ops to get better pricing. Our new rate is now for a phone is $67. We only have 1 phone. We actually eliminated the 2 phones. Because the way the contract was with AT&T, we were stuck with them. when we closed out, so you actually have, the final bill was in July, which was the 486. And then we have, in August, there was actually, we entered the new Verizon twice, so we actually have 229 in there in August and July, but that's been removed in September. So just wanted to make sure that it was not, there
Was that
were 3
consistent?
phones. It was not one phone in the, it was not just a Verifone.
Was that double entry consistent across all the departments on that? Because I noticed as going through this, that the utility expense telephone pretty much uniformly across all departments is way over budget.
Yes, it was, we had a, yeah. And then on top of that, we also, unfortunately, because we had to get out of the AT&T contract, we still had, some of the contracts were on dates, they weren't all on the exact same date. So some of those you're gonna see in the month of August as well, the final bill. So, the nice thing that now that we're on the Verizon and through the state, we're not bound like that. We get out, there's no penalties, so. Is there anything in the general fund you had questions on?
What do you mean by they had 3 phones and now we just have 1?
I mean, there were 2 phones from previous council that had phones and they weren't being used, they were actually at City Hall. And so what we had to still pay, we were stuck with them, the way the old contract was with AT&T. You know, just turn them off and have 3 penalties like you would for your own.
So who has just that 1 phone?
Now the mayor's only one. But it was, I just wanna make sure everybody knows that it's not $350 for 1 phone. Anything in the general fund, anything? So, again, on the, just to stick to the property tax side like I always do, the debt service fund, we had, actually, one payment, payments are due the 1st of September, so we actually had a payment that was posted for the 2008 certificate of obligation for the GO, and then the remaining will be the 1st of September. Again, sales, I mean, property tax, it's the same percentages as in the general fund. We have delinquent, current and delinquent of 438,198. And that's, again, all the debt services, just property tax. Water sewer fund, the water sewer financing totals $1,497,225. Water residential commercial revenues totaled $973.38 of that. Sewer residential and commercial revenues totaled $384,899. And this was the 3rd month of the new rates, and we're looking really, we're coming in as we expected, so very nice to see that, because we definitely needed the money. You can,
Have the bugs been worked out of it already?
on the billing.
In the billing?
That is something to do with the rates, they're still working on some other issues on the billing itself.
Okay.
When you have an employee leave, that's, you have new employees starting, you got that curve. So, again, we had, let's see, we billed 2,488, penalties were calculated on 429 customers. The penalty was then calculated on 164. The utility fund expenditures, they're still considerably down, 73.33%, which is $1,178,036. Due to when we did the budget amendment, there's some money in sewer and the water departments that we hadn't spent yet. We did start some of the projects, and we had, marked my notes. In the sewer plant maintenance, actually this one was not a expected one. We had a bearing and shaft go out, so there was an expenditure of $4,703 for that. We had some aerator repair, which we had talked about during the budget amendment, $1,225. So that was, so started that, but we still have a lot of money left that in the month of September, we were trying to spend. But again, as we went through the budget process, we know a lot of those projects got pushed. Also, lift station number 2, highway, which we consider Highway 97, there was a pump that went out, and that was $3,020. Again, with your water sewer, your biggest line items are your sludge, your chemicals, electric, and there was then today, 4D has been completed, the police station that they were working on, which was kind of in this budget and then also had to be drug into the new year, so at least that was completed. Any questions on the water stream? Or any other funds that you don't do that we tap on?
What is it, electric, I'm not sorry, the gas franchise?
Gas franchise? It's under. It's in the general fund, it's, so far we've got $38,263. We budgeted $40,000.
38,000?
We should have another, quarterly payment plan, that's the setup. And as always, you have in there, your fund balance summary for all the different funds and your sales tax recap, which shows you all of the sales tax broken out by city, the street payments, 4A, and economic development. Any questions? We're still working on closing September, so that'll be going through the month of November, so.
Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Barr. Okay. Now we'll have 2B, code compliance update, Monica?
And the last meeting. And how many citations? In the last meeting, we had spoken about the code compliance, and some of the council were asking how many letters were sent out, how many citations were given, and how many violations were corrected, you know, and that's what this tells you, on here, is that, you know, I sent out 121 letters, as of the end of June, when they put me to start on code compliance. And to date, there's 13 citations that are being monitored by the municipal court. And of the 121 violations, about 45 of them have been corrected. I haven't done, on some of them I haven't gone back to check, I haven't had time to go back and check, so I'm not gonna give you, I counted up the ones that I know have been corrected, that I did see, that I did go out and look at. So, and then, you know, there's a few of those that I'll give you an example. There's one person that has a lot of stuff, and I've given him the time, as long as I see, because this is stuff that's accumulated for many, many years. And I've given him the time to go and clean up as he needed. So, because he couldn't afford to get a big roll off and just put everything in
Oh, and
at one time.
he's trying to sell the property, so.
Yeah,
he's forced to-
yeah, so he's been cleaning, I mean, you see, I see an improvement from when he started. And so as long as he's cleaning and doing something, I don't have a problem with that, he's trying. You know. Any questions?
Monica, do we have an answer from Mr. Gonzalez? Has anything happened on that property that he's been asking about?
The property next door to him, I did go speak to the owner, and they had 5 days to go back out and correct it. I mean, and get it cut.
The owner?
Yes.
And when was that? When did you go out and talk to him?
It was the beginning of last week, I believe. It was the beginning of last week.
Okay, so.
So we went out there, and I haven't had a chance to go out there and check to see if it was.
I did issue a notice to her. I physically stopped and went to her house and issued a notice and told her she had 5 days to put it.
So where do you get these directions from going out there? Who gives you directions?
That's the way our ordinance states, and it states that, you know, right now, I'm taking a lot of calls. There's a lot of calls on a lot of properties. So I have to go out and do a site visit to make sure, you know, you can call me and tell me somebody's property is, you know, a weedy lot or there's junk vehicles, but I can't just send a letter out without looking at it. So I have to go and make a site visit, come back, send a letter. In 5 days, they're supposed to notify me if on the letter it states that you notify me what you're gonna do with the property. And sometimes I get calls and sometimes I don't. So at the 10 days, I need to go make another site visit and make sure they've either done it or they haven't done it, and then issue a citation.
On this one that you've got, given 5 days, when do you suppose we'll be sending someone out there to check it?
I can go out. I'll try and go out tomorrow.
And if it hasn't been done, what's the follow-up? Just so that we'll know, because I'm not sure.
Then we'll have to send an officer out. I mean, we send an officer, and it states in the ordinance that for every day that it's not corrected, we can issue a citation.
Okay, do you mind putting that down as a priority, so Mr. Gonzalez, I know he's frustrated.
But ma'am, I'm sorry, but she never does anything, it's the same story.
Well, that's why I'm asking.
I mean, like I said, I apologize, but I mean, my blood pressure goes up, because I come and I come, and she's giving you all the same song and dance
Well,
that
Mr.
I've been
Gonzalez,
getting.
I don't want you to get high blood pressure. That's
No,
why
but I'm just
asking
saying,
for-
but at least be honest, if you're
No,
not
I
gonna do
know.
nothing, I'm not addressing Monica, if you're not gonna do nothing, don't do nothing. Just quit giving me the runaround.
Well, she sent out the citation, that's the first.
I'd like to come tomorrow and see if that's true, on the ones that I've been asking her, and I bet you, I don't look for that to happen.
Well, which one did you put send the
But I mean,
citation on?
like the one on Third
You want me
Street,
to give out names, because I know exactly what you want.
no, well, I'll come visit you tomorrow, and that way you can show me
Now, is
if
there a
it's
way?
okay, see, 'cause
I don't know if we spoke about this before, we might have mentioned about community service, you know, with Sheila, with the judge, that,
We can't allow them to use the city
equipment
The
or to
city
go on
equipment
private property.
or to go on private property. Yeah, without a city employee, is it right, correct?
but what if the owner allows it?
Councilman Guerrero, I've got a letter here that says the city will go mow it for $35. I think you're wrong, Monica. You wanna see the letter? I got it here,
On brush pickup, yes, that's.
but
states
does
that.
it
I
clarify on
emailed copies of
brush?
all the letters that I've
I don't
sent
think
out.
so.
I think there's a difference in the employees we're talking about.
Individuals that have paid tickets.
Right.
Right, to the adult probation. And see, that makes
So, Ms. Castillo, I think it says on here that the city will mow it for $35 an hour.
Yes, but that's by a city employee. That's right.
So I'm gonna read it.
Okay. There's two different types.
That comes from the code compliance book, George?
No, it's a letter that they send out to a friend of mine.
Oh, okay.
I have a couple of questions and comment about this. It says, you said you started at the end of June sending out 121 letters, and you said they have 10 days to correct it. Once
No,
there's,
no, the end of June I started, and to present, I've sent out 120.
that's what I mean, since the end of June, you've sent out 121 letters. Of those, only 13 citations have been issued, and 45 have been corrected. Does the ordinance give you the latitude to say, you're in violation of the ordinance, but as the code compliance officer, I'm gonna give you more time to do that? If the ordinance says you can do that, that's fine. But if the ordinance doesn't, where does that latitude come from? And that's probably a question that goes to legal. And the other point, and this is just more procedure, it is not up to the council to tell you as the code compliance person what the council wants. I think the city charter clearly says that you work for the city manager and the city manager works for the council, so the directive as far as priorities needs to go to the city manager, and that's more of a procedural issue.
Okay, then I make a correction that we ask the city manager to follow up with Mr. Gonzalez.
Well, that was my thing, it's like, yours has been in over a year, and they've been giving you the runaround or whatever. But what I'm saying is, that's what I wanted to ask Monica, when I think she didn't understand what I asked her, but was, who gives her, okay, directions to go do this?
Nobody, all I get is a runaround.
Like Miller said, it's the city manager, just like when you went to go talk to her, she took care of one of the yards. She can take care of the rest. If she enforces and says, okay, Monica, go this morning and do it, that's her job. So, we can't, I mean, I understand that Monica keeps telling you to run around, but if in that morning they're making Monica do other paperwork for whatever reason, she's just doing what she's being told.
Right, and I
So-
appreciate, like I say,
But I know she's been giving you the runaround, so it makes you a little frustrated, yeah. But it all falls on the city manager.
so what I need to do is come to this, like I say, I gotta give her credit, I came to her last week and she got it done.
Come with her and give her the time, and I
I give her
think that
credit.
it can be corrected.
From what I understand, here's the shredding, is shred branches and stuff like that. It's not shredding, shredding is when you put them branches in the shredder. Okay.
Well, Mayor, if I may, one of the things we've been working with Monica and other staff is actually having, personalize who's doing what, so that we can go forward. And in my report, I covered that, we want to get hired some council employees to give us some eyes in the field to be able to go back and do some compliance so that we can keep it to 5 days or 10 days. I've even met with the chief of police in reference to, having Monica to have the proper, credentials she needs to have to write citations herself, so she won't have to wait, and you have to hold it in reference to that. And I believe Monica and the mayor, and the chief of police had an opportunity to meet and to give her direction. We've met with the local municipal judge, and we put together a program, because what we want to do when these citations come forward, that we're all on the same page in reference to enforcement. Because it's a property of educating, and we have to do some engineering. And the engineering we have to do in this case is that the city has to clean itself. As we go out to try to start monitoring and doing code enforcement, we need